A family vehicle requires three things: safety, space, and entertainment. This sedan delivers all of that and more. Jesse here with Go Auto, and we have the 2026 Toyota Camry in the Go Garage. Now normally, if you're thinking family vehicle, you might be thinking SUV, but this sedan offers everything that you need to make it a seriously good option. For starters, there is the styling, which is a serious glow up from years past. Instead of that sort of plasticky front end, there's a sporty grille that's paint matched to the rest of the vehicle, and some glossy black trim on the side vents and connecting those front headlights, which I particularly like because it kind of hides the surround view camera up there. The most eye-catching aspect is probably these headlights. Now, the running lights curve around the side of the vehicle, which looks amazing, definitely gonna make your friends jealous. And they are LEDs across the lineup, so no matter what trim you choose, you're always gonna get this design. Something else that comes standard is Toyota's Safety Sense 3. Now this is an abundance of safety features such as lane tracing and departure, which is great when the kids are asking for a snack on a road trip. You also get things like pre-collision and adaptive cruise control. Taken all together, those features means that you're going to have fewer close calls and less stress on the road. Particularly important if you've got kids in the back. Now with the side profile, yes, it is a sedan, not an SUV, but it does have a lot of those attributes of an SUV. For example, the doors swing open nice and wide, which gives you an easy in and out. And because it's so low to the ground, kids can get in and out of the vehicle quite easily without having to treat it like a jungle gym. But I would say the most important thing is that Camry all-wheel drive. So important in Canadian winters. You're going to get the traction and stability of the all-wheel drive without the added bulk and the added fuel costs of an SUV. Now, I know what you're thinking, but I've got sports in the evening and activities on the weekend. Don't worry, Camry thought of that too. For one thing, it is power operated, so you don't have to put everything down just to get that trunk opened up. And it is when the trunk opens up that this vehicle really starts to shine. You can't necessarily stack luggage the way you can with, say, a taller SUV, but there is a lot of depth back here. And what I like is that this trunk is quite wide and low. So if you're lifting up things like hockey bags, you're not going to strain your back and you're not going to dent or chip the paint back here. And even then, there's still room for the stroller, meaning that everyone can attend the game. The design back here is much the same as the front, which is great. You've got some distinctive taillights as well as that gloss black accent. And you might notice in the badging back here, HEV. That's right, this is actually a hybrid, although we'll talk a bit more about that in a sec. The rear seats of the Camry are a big standout from other sedans. First of all, there's room for full adults back here, including headroom for tall people like me. You also have these perforated seats that are fully leather, which means any spills are going to be extra easy to clean up. Once you remove these covers, the child seat anchor points, very easy to access. And you've got cup holders, and underneath the air vents are USB ports, meaning all of your electronics are going to stay alive all through the drive. The front cabin of the Camry is brilliantly thought out. It's not just a big screen, buttons, and cup holders. For instance, in the center console on the left, you've got a wireless charging pad, and on the right, there's an additional cubby there, perfect size for keys and wallets, which means that you can use your cup holders to actually hold cups. And I like that they have this kind of grippy inside, which is great. So small coffee cup, tall Stanley, nothing's gonna fall over. Next to that is your gear selector, and below that are your driving buttons like auto hold. Now that's going to make the vehicle hold the brake for you if you're, say, in a pickup lane waiting to grab your kids. The other buttons here all pertain to the driving characteristics of the vehicle. Eco makes the car drive as efficiently as possible, which is great for long road trips. Sport is for when you want to have fun, like getting pumped up on the way to the gym. And normal is for your everyday driving mode, although you can use any of them as your everyday driving mode. Now EV mode is what happens when you want to go electric, because as I said, this is actually a hybrid vehicle. Having said that, it's not a plug-in hybrid. This vehicle uses regenerative charging, and what that means is every time you tap the brake, you're actually recharging your battery. So if you want to hit that EV mode, it'll turn the engine off and you will be running fully electric. But let's pause the technical stuff for a moment and just talk about looks, because this interior is spectacular. The seats are so comfortable and supportive with the same beautiful design as we saw in the back. And the leather carries over onto the door and then onto the dash. Then finally it comes down into this center console. It just kind of spices things up compared to other vehicles. You also get that gloss black accent, which starts with the air vent and then sort of morphs into this infotainment system. I just think it looks really cool. And this infotainment system is great. There's shortcut buttons on the left, and I really appreciate its similarity to a phone almost. When you open up the car on the left, you'll get a new screen that pops up, and then you just go from there. It doesn't overcomplicate things, and it makes learning a new vehicle really easy. Now, having said that, if you don't plan on using the native system for music or navigation, when you pull up your wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, it'll actually give you the full screen, so you don't have to deal with that sort of half-screen situation that some vehicles have. Below this is where you'll find your button-operated climate controls, which is great because it means you don't have to look away from the road every time you want to change the airflow. Here you'll also find the buttons for your heated and cooled seats. Very nice in Canada, where we have wildly fluctuating temperatures. The driver also gets a digital display as well as a heads-up display, both of which are controlled through the steering wheel, making it very easy to navigate. The driver's display is also quite customizable. There's a left, right, and middle section, all of which you can customize to show the information that you want. This steering wheel is wrapped in a premium soft leather, which is heated, and the buttons are really nicely laid out. You've got display and media on the left and safety features on the right. The 2026 Toyota Camry is proof that family-friendly does not have to mean SUV-sized. Find out yourself by visiting goauto.ca or any one of their Toyota dealerships.